Did you watch the trailer for the Candace Owens new series, Charlie Kirk's Wife? If you're interested in my reaction to this entire situation, stick around. Before I give you my opinion, my name is Lasha, and this is Lasha's Take. I call this the rap community because this is a very welcoming channel. Because it's a smaller channel, people really know each other. Um, I've made some friends on this channel, and people put up channels for different reasons. If you want to find out why I started the channel, please go to change.org and just type in search Lasha, and my last name is Rojen, as in Nancy, Echo, K as in Kitty, O, Rojenko. Okay? So welcome to Lasha's Take. I really love Cheer Denise's introduction music. Do 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 do. No, that's not the way it goes. How does that music go? Anyways, so this is an iteration. So I remember watching this movie Truth, and it was with Kate Blanchett and the late great Robert Redford, and he played um, uh, Dan Rather, and Kate Blanchett played Mary Maples, and they wrote an article about George Bush evading the war and lying about it in the army. And George Bush basically shut that article down. Why am I telling you about truth? Because they're real journalists like Candace Owens, and she did obviously a lot of digging. And so I remember the characters in the movie, and Dennis Quaid and Elizabeth Moss, and it was, oh gosh, and the movie was called Truth. And Kate Blanchett, they said one day, instead of people, finding news and sending it out, they'll just be talking about what other people are talking about. And before I get into the Candace Owen stuff, does anybody remember Jim Carrey and that movie, Ed TV? And his whole life was being watched, but he was watching everybody else's. And now this is happening. There are no coincidences. And I want all of you to put yourself in Candace Owens's shoes. Hi there. I've got this weird light on because it's Lent, and I went to Bible study this morning, and then I went to a service this afternoon because it was really, really nice. Just the community atmosphere, and I like the hymns, and the sermon was excellent. It was about contrition and forgiveness and the resurrection. And he kind of related, court and judgment day in court, for example, for atonement. So, yeah, I had an interesting day. So, I've been up for 48 hours and I don't have anything planned to say, and I'm dehydrated. So, my goal for Lent is to take excellent, excellent care of myself and remember that I matter. Hi, how, yes, thank you. That's how it went. It was really, really good. And I was really wanting to come here because sometimes, they say in the CIA, I watched this other Netflix series called, I talk about movies a lot too. So I'll talk about movies and then I'll tie it into Candace Owens and I'll get to my point. And I'm not showing any clips. So I forget what I just said. So now I'm just going to go right into Candace. Oh, I was talking about the Netflix series, The Lioness, and it's with Nicole Kidman. And I don't know the other actors' names. And the operative said, "Ma'am, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying." And I guess that's the CIA's policy, but it was about a CIA operative and it was riveting. And I think I might, because of the reason I started this channel, I had a lot of time to watch movies. So somebody said to me in the comments, take down all your old footage and just continue with your when you move the spirit lives, because I don't shut up sometimes. Seriously. And this condominium is really dry. And you know what I love about all you all? I'm so glad that 1%, and I don't like to look, I can't stand it when people have a channel and they say, "Can you please help me get to 100K so I can get my plaque?" I don't know. That makes me feel funny. You know what I mean? I don't know. Um, my eyes are just terrible. Wait a second. Yes, it was a medical practice. Medical. Yes, I smoke marijuana all the time. No, not all the time. Oh gosh, that's bizarro. Okay, anyway, so I was going to say sometimes I cheat and I'll watch Candace Owens and I'll listen to Ian Carroll and then I'll listen to Coach Colin and then I'll listen to Sean Atwood and then I'll listen to Lionel's Nation and then I'll listen to Ron Swanson. And you know what I love about Candace Owens and the title, The Wife of Charlie Kirk? I did this short video. All I do is lives whenever I feel like it. Because when I get in a mood where I don't shut up, that's usually the best time for me to go on. For me to choreograph a dance or choreograph what I'm going to say, I'm incapable of it. And I can't even see all your comments. What is your favorite strain? I use these vapes and I use them at nighttime. I'll show you my knee. I had a malpractice. I broke my femur walking two dogs, and it happened when I was 46, and I'm 54 now, and I'll be 55 in July. But he put nails, he didn't put pins in it. They were nails, they went like this, they were under the kneecap. My leg I was in a wheelchair for an entire year. He falsified information. It happened in Canada, and that's why I started this channel, because I wanted to bring awareness to it, because the Royal Victoria Hospital, Gail Hunt is the CEO, and those are the facts. But I need to get, you know what I'd love to do? I'd love to get Candace Owens to take all of my medical notes and my story and put it on her platform. I want to write into her because she is like a dog, which was actually a really good segue into Candace Owens and the trailer. Before I get into that, I want to tell you about a short that I did. Ron Swanson had a guest, and he was watching that little clip of Erica Kirk when she had those eyes, and Ron Swanson went, Look at those eyes. Oh my God. She's got psycho eyes. Oh my God. She looks like a Chucky doll. And I was killing myself laughing. So then I'm watching Coach Colin. And Coach Colin says, he always goes, "Loo, loo, 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 loo. Let's get into it." So Coach Colin, he said, you know, that title is kind of like that movie Chucky. And I just can see TikTok going crazy with Chucky dolls and Erica Kirk's head, and there's going to be eyes going everywhere. This is my prediction of what's going to happen. But why is Candace doing this? Like, she's making a documentary about somebody I don't understand. She's making a documentary about, well, Erica Kirk is a very powerful woman, right? But so is Candace Owens. And Candace Owens is not doing this for the money. I can promise you, no matter what Candace Owens did in her life, she would be a millionaire. She's just like that. I think. And the other thing I want to say about it, more about Candace Owens, her motive. She's not a narcissist because she would admit if she did something wrong. She was anorexic. She admits it. So was I. I get it. She comes across sometimes angry and so on, but I bet you on the inside she can get very insecure, and she's a marshmallow, and she's very loving, and she's going to go through the ringer. They're going to make fun of her husband, and their marriage, about whatever, and they're going to try and tear her apart. And if I would trust anybody with my life with information, I'd give it to Candace Owens. And people think and thought she was lying about everything. However, she's funny because she'll set up the like that trailer. It said it all. It just said it all. And I thought she did a beautiful job with the far and the faux far and that, it's his uncle, like see, I thought Candace Owens would be off air for the entirety of Lent, but then I realized people still need to work. She still needs to work, right? So anyway, I think that Erica Kirk, I've said this a million times, she was a plant by Donald Trump, and she knew Epstein, and I know it's involved, and Arizona is where all of the alien stuff is. And I've been up for 48 hours, so I'm gonna go crash. And my head's spinning, and there's a lot to unwrap, but like I'm thinking this is going to go into aliens, and this is going to go into deep military stuff, and it's going to be really dark. And do you feel the energy in this world fucking changing? It's almost like the YouTubers and the people collectively on YouTube have unveiled. And you know who really unveiled everything from the beginning? Was Virginia Roberts Giuffre, my hero. And I think Jeffrey Epstein, that was her only proof that she was with Prince Andrew. What are the chances of her having a picture with Prince Andrew? And Jeffrey Epstein took it, and he's a professional blackmailer. Did he think she was stupid? Or did he give that to her for a little bit of insurance? Mm. This Charlie Kirk thing is going to go on until Candace Owens figures out exactly who killed Charlie and why. What was the motive? Um, I watched Jesse on Fire, and he thinks Charlie Kirk is still alive. Hey, anything nowadays is possible. So, thank you for hanging out with me for this 15 minutes or so. I really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed it. The royal family's going to crumble. And to me, the queen always looked like she wanted to punch somebody in the face. And she didn't know what her son was up to. They really think we're stupid. And Lady Victoria Harvey is crazy. I'm ashamed that people even give her airtime to speak. Andrew's over, and she's still defending the fucking picture on Piers Morgan. I mean, give it up, Lady Victoria. I did a whole video about her on another day. But and you know that Eyes Wide Shut was filmed at Lady Victoria Harvey's castle, and she was in a documentary on Tubi with about Ghislaine Maxwell, and they were at a party, and they all had to play a game, and Lady Victoria said, "Oh, we all had to figure out which side of the man's penis was on what side." And one time, Ghislaine was making a joke, like, and she was like trying to teach us how to, like, do a blowjob. She's sick. And you know what? And these people, like I'm talking about the uber rich. And I finally figured out the pyramid of how poor people keep the fat cats fat and the starving dogs starving. So I'll be back tomorrow when the spirit moves me. I'm getting silly now. Okay, that's a wrap. Thank you very much for taking the time. And I only do live, so if you want to watch it, start from the beginning. And please just comment on what I've been talking about. What are your thoughts on Epstein? What are your thoughts on Candace Owens? What are your thoughts? I think Candace Owens is like a dog with a bone. A pit bull is nothing. I just protected myself. I went to the St. Catherine's SPCA today, and there were girls there, 5 of them. None of them were doing anything because pizza was there, and there were dogs in cages that have been there since November, and this is February, and they all look like they're gonna die, and they're older dogs. Everybody always wants a puppy. That's why everybody wants a new baby, because nobody wants to deal with somebody else's problems. And I left that. I remember when I was a little girl, my Baba and Dido had a dog named Happy, and it was a cockapoo. And there was a dog house, and there was hay. And I was like 3 or 4, and I would go and I would sit in the dog house with Happy, and it was like this. And I loved Happy. It was a cockapoo, and they wouldn't let the dog in the house. And I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I never needed a Bible to feel what was right or wrong, but I really believe in a higher power, I don't take a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Um, you have to be definitive in what you believe, not wishy-washy. You can't have 6 opinions about one thing. You can look at different perspectives of one thing, but everybody has to have an opinion of one thing. So, I thought Candace Owens did an excellent job presenting her information, and I think that she's horrified by the truth, and she doesn't give a shit if somebody sues her. I don't know. I don't know. What do I know? I'm getting tired. That's a wrap. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, bye. Bye. Sorry about my tiredness.